What's going on, knuckleheads? It's George with Fighters Rep. If you like to talk about combat sports and you want to join our weekly discussions, click the subscribe button below and the bell notification icon next to it and join Knucklehead Nation. So I'm making this video because it's come to my attention that there are two massive groups that are forming like gangs right now. And one group is saying that Anthony Joshua is ducking Deontay Wilder. And the other group is saying Deontay Wilder is ducking Anthony Joshua. And then there's another group forming to the side saying that Tyson Fury is, ducking. So we need to straighten this out and see who's really ducking. And first and foremost, being in America, being an American, is Deontay Wilder ducking? We need to straighten that out. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. So the first person we're going to deal with is Deontay Wilder. Now, is Deontay Wilder ducking? Well, it depends on your definition of ducking. In my opinion, ducking means avoiding another fighter because you are afraid of that fighter. Now, if you've actually seen Deontay Wilder fight, if you've heard him talk, if you know what he's been through between his daughter having spina bifida, between him joining making the Olympic team, dedicating his life to boxing, winning a bronze medal, if you know about his career going up against Luis Ortiz after finding out he tested positive and not caring, being willing to fly out to Russia to fight Alexander Povetkin. If you know these things about Deontay Wilder and you see his demeanor when he talks about a fight against Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury, you come away with the impression, I think, if you're being objective, that he is not ducking. Deontay Wilder is absolutely not ducking anybody. But we'll get into what he may be doing a little bit later. Now, let's move on to Anthony Joshua, right? Is Anthony Joshua ducking? Well, it's kind of the same thing. An Olympian, gold medalist, fought Vladimir Klitschko, got destroyed by a right hand against Vladimir Klitschko and knocked down, got up off the ground and finished Vladimir Klitschko, took on Joseph Parker, took on Carlos Takam, took on Alexander Povetkin, took on Dylan White, who had, beaten him in the amateurs. He just has not exhibited the fear that you would expect from somebody who's ducking another fighter. So that's my point there. And now he was willing to take on Big Baby Miller, who got popped for steroids. He was definitely still willing to fight Big Baby Miller. And as a replacement, he's going to be fighting Andy Ruiz, who's no joke. Let's be honest, in the heavyweight division, it's not exactly bustling with talent, but Andy Ruiz is a tough guy. And, if that's the replacement you're going for after Big Baby Miller, then you're not scared. And then let's briefly touch on Tyson Fury, because I want this video to focus on Deontay Wilder and then a little bit on Anthony Joshua. But Tyson Fury, I don't think he's ducking anybody either. What he is doing, what Tyson Fury is doing, and what I think all three of these men are doing, and I think Tyson Fury is a good segue into what's actually happening, is they're being business smart. They're just being business savvy. Now, I'll give you an example of what we're talking about. So Tyson Fury comes back from binging on cocaine and alcohol, whatever the hell else he was doing, for a couple years. He comes back weighing 400 pounds. He's got to lose all that weight, and he goes straight into a fight with Deontay Wilder. Now, why do you think Deontay Wilder's management was willing to take that fight? They probably thought Tyson Fury was, coked to the gills and, not able to recover from the damage he did to himself. And, it almost backfired on them. That's why Deontay Wilder's team took that fight. And so what I'm trying to communicate to you is they took that fight as a business decision to improve their fighter's stock, which is what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do as a manager. Tyson Fury's team took that fight for the same reason. They thought Deontay Wilder was the weak link in the heavyweight division. Let's go after him instead of Joshua. He doesn't have the boxing skills, and I do. Let's go after him. This was a business decision. At the end of the day, it was a draw, which was kind of a win-win for both parties, because neither one of them really lost any value. Both of their values actually soared. It was a fantastic fight, and now we've got even more interest in the heavyweight division. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua was off in England making a boatload of money, and they were able to basically box him out of the picture by fighting each other. It was really an intelligent business move. Now, Anthony Joshua is also an intelligent businessman with some intelligent business minds behind him, especially in Eddie Hearn. And, he's created an amazing empire out there in England. He doesn't even have to come to the United States. They were trying to lure Wilder out there maybe on their own terms. Who knows what happened? But let's get back to Wilder now. So Wilder and Fury have that incredible fight. The American public, all the boxing fans, we all want to see them fight each other. We definitely wanted to see Wilder and Fury happen again. We want to see Wilder and Joshua. And, we'd also be down to see Fury, Joshua. But why isn't Wilder and Joshua happening? That's the focus. Is Wilder ducking? Why isn't that fight happening? Is Joshua ducking? Why isn't that fight happening? At this point, okay, if you're Deontay Wilder's management, Deontay Wilder's management, the smart money is on building your fighter's confidence up a little more, knowing that the excitement for the Joshua fight will further marinate in the interim, and then taking the Joshua fight down the line. If you're Deontay Wilder's management, are you telling me that you don't do exactly what he's doing, which is fight a couple fights against, notable, decent heavyweights? He's going to be fighting Ortiz next, and then turn around maybe after a few fights when the fans are really, really starting to clamor for it, and then make the Joshua fight. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Knuckleheads, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. These guys aren't ducking each other. This is a business. This is a business at the end of the day. These are prize fighters. Deontay Wilder even said it in the ring. We deserve the most money. This is a dangerous sport. The head is not meant to be hit. This guy wants to make as much money for himself and his family and his daughter with spina bifida before he moves on and retires. And can I blame him for it? No. But is money the culprit? Yes, this is a business. This is a business decision, and money is the culprit. Anthony Joshua's ready to make this fight now. But Deontay Wilder is not ready to make this fight now because his management probably wants to build his confidence with a couple more wins, knowing that it's just going to lead to more money in the future. It's not a bad decision. Do these guys want to fight each other? Yes. Are these guys afraid of each other? No. Get it out of your heads, knuckleheads. These guys are not ducking each other. At least that's what I think. I'd love to hear what you guys think on that issue, but that is what I think. These guys are in no way, no how ducking each other. Okay? The other thing I wanted to talk about with regards to the reason that these guys are not fighting is it's not just money. Okay? This is the bonus reason. And one of the things I really dislike about combat sports, and one of the things that I feel has done a lot of damage to boxing, and I'm hoping doesn't creep its way into other combat sports, especially kickboxing and MMA. The problem with boxing is a culture was created in boxing where you have to be undefeated or damn near close to it to maintain your value. If you have one defeat on your record, you lose so much value. It's such a tremendous loss. Some people never recover, ever. Some people lose once, and they just never recover, and they just lose their aura of, invincibility, and it's disastrous for their career. And that's part of the reason, knuckleheads, that culture of maintaining a perfect record is part of the reason that these guys aren't fighting each other, because their management knows this. That if any of them lose to the other, it's going to result in a dramatic loss in money. And that's just not the way it should be. We need, as boxing fans, to address this bullshit, undefeated culture, okay? And start paying respects to fighters for merely stepping in that ring and competing against each other. Because if not, we're going to end up ruining this sport even more. We need to bring honor, as cliche and ridiculous as it sounds, back to the sport of boxing. Because if you keep up this whole you have to be undefeated requirement, this freaking de facto requirement that's tainting this sport, preventing the best from fighting the best, and ruining careers and lives when people do end up losing. If you maintain this status quo, boxing is not going to heal. It's not going to get better. And that's part of the reason MMA is doing so well when it's, compared to boxing, is because in MMA, it's basically a monopoly with the UFC at the top. The best are forced to fight the best. And if you're undefeated, it's probably because you haven't fought the best guys. The only guys that have been able to maintain an undefeated record, Khabib, John Jones, even though he has that BS technical loss, but that dude's undefeated. Those two guys. And when you're undefeated in MMA, it actually means something. There are 1 million undefeated fighters in boxing. There are 1 million of them. Now, do they retire undefeated? That's something different. But what I'm saying is, how many boxers start off 5-0, 10-0, 20-0? It's just total bullshit. So that's part of the reason these fights are not happening. The money obviously is part of the reason these fights are not happening. But the money issue is not only partially, but significantly stemming from this bullshit boxing culture where you have to be undefeated. And I hate to say it. Because I love Floyd Mayweather, and I think, in my opinion, he's still the greatest boxer that I've ever seen with my own eyes. But he did perpetuate that culture. If you drive into Vegas, you see the money team billboard 50-0. It's not his fault. He went undefeated. He did pick, fights at ideal times or whatnot, but he did fight a bunch of tough guys. You can't deny him. And he's still, in my opinion, the best. But it's that culture that was glorified and continues to be glorified before and after Floyd Mayweather that we need to get rid of as boxing fans. So, knuckleheads, tell me what you think. Is Deontay Wilder ducking? Is Anthony Joshua ducking? Is Tyson Fury ducking? Do we need to get rid of this BS undefeated culture in boxing? Should guys just step in there, fight, and get respect regardless, just for stepping in the ring? I think they should. Tell me what you guys think. I'm turning it over to you guys.